Hi guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to do a basics video all around how to fold nappies and the different types of nappies, so pocket nappies, velcro nappies, nighttime nappies and a few others. So I hope that you enjoy this quick how-to video. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a completely new setup because this is the first sit down video that I'm doing in this house. How exciting! We've moved house, and if you haven't seen it, make sure to check out my video, which I'll pop a link to right now. So basically, we've moved house. I don't have the correct setup. Like, I'm not completely happy with the background. We've not redecorated the house because we're going to do some rewiring first. This house is nearly 100 years old, so basically it needs a lot of work done before we start redecorating and doing like the nice stuff. Basically, I am today going to show you some basics, and this video is mostly for my husband. So let me explain why. I am going away for about a week to look after my 90-year-old gran, and basically the plan is for him to look after Aiden whilst I'm away, and a week isn't easy. Like, he's going to be single parenting for a week, which is tough. I did it myself when he was away for work, so abroad. Anyway, the point is he is going to be looking after Aiden with the reusable nappy. So the idea is that he washes them, that he folds them and puts them together, and that's why this video has come about. Basically, I'm going to tell him, go and watch this video so that he can actually fold those reusable nappies without the need of my help. Cool, so what I'm going to do is actually add some timelines down at the bottom in the comments, no description, to basically say what kind of nappies are fold up when, so that you can like skip to the ones that you need, make this video really snappy, really easy. And basically, if you have any other comments or questions, please make sure to comment down below. Like this video, please. I'd really appreciate it. I do it in my spare time. I'm talking this quickly because I do it at my lunch breaks, and I want to make sure that I don't miss a thing for you guys. If you're new to the channel, I'm Alina Ghost, and I talk about all things for mums clean with me's, a lot to do about reusable nappies. I'm also talking about makeovers and house stuff, and I've got a huge white German Shepherd dog. So if you're interested in all that, please do click the subscribe button and don't forget the alerts as well. Let's start with my favourites, and that is pocket nappies. Most of my stash are pocket nappies, mostly because I bought them secondhand. So that's something that I started with this whole reusable journey. So the fact that it is pocket nappies, I bought about 26. I sort of got used to using them, and I've been using them for like nearly 2 years now. Is it 2 years? Oh my goodness. And basically, yes, that is why pocket nappies are one of my favorites, and this is how you fold them. Firstly, you take the outer layer, and you know that it's a pocket nappy because it has a pocket at the back usually, or at the back and front if it's like bell bums or something. And essentially what we're going to do is stuff this nappy. I'm going to stuff this nappy for a baby boy first because that's what I have. I have a boy, and basically I am going to show you how to fold it for a girl after that. Okay, cool. So what happens first is I use a Bambino Mio booster as the bottom layer, and the idea is that I sort of go by this label. I prefer to fold everything at the front, and I notice the front, whoops, by the label itself. So what I'm going to do for a baby boy, I'm going to take an insert. So this one is a microfiber one. I usually say it's a rubbish insert, and the reason for that is because it's so old. So not only is it like I've been using it for so long, but also I know that the lady that I bought this from had 4 kids. So if she's used them for 4 kids, no wonder they're like, some of the material is deteriorating, and basically it just doesn't look as nice as my new microfiber ones. So usually use a rubbish one at the top. Then I have a good one. So usually the good quality is like bamboo or hemp, so like a really good quality insert, so something that really absorbs them well. Cotton does really well as well for that actually. So I pair a rubbish one and a not so rubbish one together. But something that I also started doing recently, because my baby boy is basically a little bit older, I don't want to change it as much because it's a little bit more of a hassle. I add a booster, basically a bamboo booster, and I either put it in the middle, so in between these two, or I put it at the back so that it touches the booster. So how it then ends up looking is basically a sandwich at the front, and this is pretty much nothing. And the reason for that is because boys tend to wee at the front because of their little wieners. That makes sense, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to now stuff this nappy all at the front, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So now you can see that this nappy is mostly stuffed at the front. You do get the booster just in case, especially if he does a number 2. So it's still protected and it's not just a material that's hanging off there. So yeah, so the party at the front, as I say. Before I move on to the next one and show you how to do this for girls, don't forget the liner. So I prefer to use a liner, either a fleecy material one or a cotton or biodegradable one. So this one is a biodegradable one, so 100% biodegradable. No, you shouldn't flush them down the toilet, but all you do is place that on top, and I usually make sure that most of it covers the back, because when he poops, all I have to do is basically take that and like I don't know, wave it into the toilet so that all the poo goes into the toilet. I can flush that, and then I put this liner, I prefer to put it into a biodegradable little poo bag. So I've got a dog, so that's pretty standard for us to have that at home, and basically I put that in that poo bag because I know it's made out of starch and corn flour, so that it biodegrades as well. So everything is biodegradable when it goes to the dump. This is how you stuff a pocket nappy if you've got a baby girl. So you take the Bambino Mio booster. It can be any booster, but I like to use these at the bottom. Basically I would put the better quality insert first, because it will absorb all of that moisture at the bottom. And the reason it's at the bottom is basically because it takes longer to absorb it, whereas a microfiber can do it really quickly. Therefore I would usually put that at the top. However, for extra durability and make it a little bit longer, I would add a booster and sandwich that between the microfiber insert and the better quality insert. And so you've got a sandwich like this. So whereas with the boys, I would fold all of these up at the front, basically to make sure that it's as absorbent as possible at the front. For a girl, because of gravity, most of the moisture will go in the middle here. So this is how I would stuff the nappy. Ta-da! So it looks a little bit different because it's actually packed out a lot more evenly throughout the nappy. And also don't forget your insert. So this one, exactly the same as I just mentioned. It's a biodegradable, not insert, liner. But you can also use a fleecy liner as well on top. Or I know some mums who prefer not to use a liner at all. So yeah, completely up to you. Give it a go and see what happens. This one's an all-in-one nappy, and the reason it's an all-in-one is because it's all attached. One of our most famous all-in-one nappies is the Bambino Mio Mio Solos. I nearly forgot the name then because they've got the other one, which I'm going to show you later as well. But essentially in the UK we absolutely love this. I'm not sure about other areas, but let me know in the comments if you like this too and you're not in the UK. Basically we like the fact that all you have to do is you use this as a pocket. You slide this inside, so it's like a pocket nappy but it's all attached. You slide this inside the nappy and go to the very end, and then it's pretty much done. So what you need to do now is add the inserts for the extra durability to make sure that it lasts you longer and that you don't have to change them as often. So a little bit in a similar way, but I actually prefer to use different inserts to this, and the reason for that, I probably, I don't actually know the reason for that. I guess it's something that I started at the very beginning and found that it worked for us. And from then on, I was just keeping the process that worked. Basically, what I do is I use a pre-fold, also a Bambino Mio one, and I fold it. I fold this in. So you can see the 3 sections there, I hope. So 1 section, 2 sections in the middle, and then the 3rd one as well. So what I do is take both of the sections at the ends and fold them into the middle like this, so that you have the one line. I then, you could probably see the fold right here, fold it in half. So what I do now is I add this in, but before I do, what I do like to do to give it a little bit more of a boost is add a bamboo booster. So usually it looks like this. I've got quite a few of these. I've added more into my collection recently, but essentially I fold this in half as well, put those 2 together, and I usually put this more at the bottom because of the material. It takes longer to absorb the moisture. That's why I put that at the bottom, and then the cotton and everything else can basically take most of the moisture pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do now is, for a boy, and I fold it because it's for a boy, I put it all at the front of the nappy. So as you can see, once again, similar to my pocket nappies, this is all at the front here, so that it absorbs as much moisture at the front as possible. Because of my baby boy, he usually wees at the front because of his wiener. So if it was a girl, I wouldn't fold it in half. What I would do is actually, I'm going to take it out and show you that when I've folded it up, I would keep it like this. And when it comes to the booster, personally, I think I'd probably fold it up, but put it in the middle of the pre-fold. And then stuff the Bambino Mio Mio Solo, so that I can use it for the girl. Because girls mostly wee in the middle because of gravity, it makes sense for most of the absorption to happen in the middle section here, and that's why I folded up the booster and put it in the middle as well. Before finishing up though, the last thing I would do is add a liner, whether it's a biodegradable liner or a fleece liner, but I make sure that it's in the middle here, either way. But it's to make sure that if they do poopies, that it's a lot easier to take out that poop, put it in the middle, flush it, and then I usually dispose of the liner in a biodegradable way. So like a poo bag that is biodegradable, usually for dogs, but also good here. It makes sense for us to move over to all-in-twos. And the reason all-in-twos are really good is because unlike the all-in-ones, when they're all connected, which means that you can't wash them separately, you can't dry them separately, the all-in-twos usually mean that you can, although you can clip or connect the inserts to the outer layer, you can actually take them apart as well, and then what you can do is just use a different insert and clip it onto the same wrap, or like the outer layer, so that you don't actually have to wash it necessarily if the outer layer isn't that soiled. So that's a pretty good tip before I start to show you how to actually put them together. So basically I have a Tickle Tots one here today, and I will unclip them to show you. So it comes with different inserts. This one's quite an interesting one. If you wanted to have a look at my review of this nappy, I'll make sure to link it. But essentially what you do is you clip this onto the nappy, which you can see here. So what I'm going to do now is clip it in front of you, a satisfying click, and it's the same on the other side as well. Oh, you know, something that I do always forget is the fact that this insert has another clip, or what is it called? A popper. Another popper at the front. So I sometimes put it at the back forgetting that it's there. So the reason it is at the front is if you have a boy. So this is the front, and I'm going to make sure that I click it correctly this time, is because when you use the second one, you can actually click this on, And what I do, if I've got it, like if you had a boy, this is what I recommend you do, is click this at the front here. And then what I do with this is actually fold it upwards so that most of the absorption happens at the very front. Rather than if you had a girl, it doesn't actually matter where the click is, whether it's at the back, whether it's at the front, because you can just have it out like this and most of the absorption happens in the middle. But as I've got a boy, I prefer to click it at the front and make sure that it's folded up so that most of the moisture is taken on at the front there. So then I would take this liner. So this is quite an interesting one. This is a Bell Bums liner and it's got a charcoal top, and basically it's a lot thicker than my usual liners, but I really like to use it because it's really nice and fleecy and it's got extra absorption at the back there. So I like to use it on this one because I don't find, like I sometimes find that it's not enough, like in terms of absorption. So this does really nicely in this nappy. I put that on there and as you can see it's pretty long as well. And then that's it, that's done. I'm gonna make sure to Velcro it up and it's ready to go. As promised, we're now going to look at the Bambino Mio Mio Duo. So the reason I wanted to have a look at this one is because this is a wrap that is separate to the inserts, and the inserts are mostly my own, I believe. That's a lie, they're all Bambino Mio. So basically I'm going to show you how to fold these up. This is a Velcro one, but it's got no poppers at the front. So let's go for it. Once again, I'm going to start with how I fold it for a baby boy. So what I am going to do is, as usual, I love to use these boosters at the very bottom. So this is our first layer. What I do is, I'm going to show you this quickly. So this is just the wrap. As I said, no poppers, no clippers, no measuring changes. Basically, it comes as it comes. And if it doesn't fit your baby, it doesn't fit your baby. But it has very good Velcro, so you could probably change the torso as and when you need to. I would then... So this one is an extra large, or just a large, pre-fold, whereas the one earlier that I showed you that I used for the Bambino Mio Mio Solo, so the all-in-one, was the smaller one to this, but this one's a bigger one. So I would fold it up once again, like as I mentioned earlier, you've got the 3 strips, you put everything towards the middle like this, and instead of folding it in half, I would usually fold it mostly towards the top. And the reason for that is because I want most of the moisture to be absorbed at the front for a boy. So not only that, but I also get a bamboo booster, and I fold it up in half, and what I do is just sandwich it in the middle, like in between here. And then what I'm going to do is take the front and put all of this section at the front here, so that when my boy goes to wee-wee, it all gets absorbed at the front here. So something that I also like here, because it's such a large pre-fold, it actually keeps everything in one place without moving about too much. Because I feel like if I use the same system that I used for pocket nappy, I feel like I'll move about too much. There's too many parts that are not together enough, whereas this really holds like the booster in place, for example, and I make sure that this folded up bit is like connected to the booster rather than the other way around, because I feel like this, it will be uncomfortable for my boy, and therefore also it might move around a lot more and come out. So I just feel like that is a safer way to do it. But if you have other suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Once again, don't forget the liner. So I'm going to put that on top here like this, fold it up, and we're ready to go. So nice, easy one for sure. Last but not least, and this is our nighttime nappies. But if you wanted to have a look at more nighttime nappy options and what I've tried in the past, and that's a lot because my baby boy was a heavy wetter, make sure to check out my video on that, and I'll make sure to link it either up here or in the comment description below. So basically, I have a Bell Bums one. This is the one that we use the most. So we've got a couple of these that we alternate as well as some of the others. And basically what happens is you get like the outer layer. You also get 2 parts with it. So I'll explain where they go and how they go in a second. But I also add a pre-fold to it. As you can see, I absolutely love my pre-folds. And once again, I will show you how I fold it up, and I'm gonna start with what you do if you've got a boy. First things first, and that's this outer layer. So this is actually the liner with some extra absorbency. I do like Bell Bums for that. And what I do is actually you've got a nice handy clip that you click this onto, and basically you just leave it like that. It's nice and soft, blends in with the inner layer, so the fleecy inner layer of the nighttime nappy. Then we take the insert. So with the insert, it also has a clicker or clipper or a popper, whatever you want to call it. And basically this goes at the front. So you can tell the front by the amount of poppers that they've got at the front there. And what I do is I click it in. And because I've got a boy, I fold it up. Now I'm getting confused. I fold this up at the very front, and then what I do is tuck this into the nighttime nappy itself, whereas the liner stays on the outside. So this is what the nappy looks like on its own without any extra boosts or anything like that. But I do tend to find that it's probably not enough for us, so I'll always use a pre-fold with it. There are 3 sections to the pre-fold. I fold it like this, so into thirds, I fold it into the middle, and then I fold it in half for a boy. And what I do is then take this and put it at the very front. I also tuck this in. Like with the other nappies, most of the absorbency and the moisture will go at the front, so that's why I am filling it up at the front as much as possible. And it's interesting that although it's got the cut at the front, it doesn't annoy me. So like I thought maybe I'll come out or it'll be annoying, but actually it's absolutely fine and it stays in place. I found that this method works for us, and it's very much at the front so that my baby boy can wee, and most of the absorbency happens at the front, which is great. The liner is still in the middle and everything. So then as a final thing, you have the outer layer, so the wrap. So what you do is just make sure that the front is with the front, and the way you know it's the front is because there's so many more poppers or clippers at the front here. So usually it's for it, like if your baby is smaller, you can usually click it into the correct places so that it's a nicer, more snug fit. So there you go. Then what I do is usually put it onto my baby boy first like this, and then I add the wrap once it's already on him after that. So put it together like this and we're ready to go. So if you've got a girl, instead of folding everything in half, what you actually do is you follow the same method of you actually click this to the front, but you just leave this out. And when it comes to the pre-fold, so I meant leave it out, like we're going to tuck it in a second, but I mean like instead of folding it, just leave it flat. And the same with the pre-fold, instead of folding up for a baby boy, we are going to do this. Or you can actually fold it up because it's so big and put it as much in the middle as possible. So what I'm going to do now is tuck them both in and try and distribute the material into the middle as much as possible. But keep in mind that girls, when they're laying down and it's about gravity, can actually also get like the wee either at the front or the back, depends how they sleep. So I guess it's a little bit easier for boys that way when they're sleeping because it's still at the front. Whereas for girls, it's just dependent on how they sleep. So I do think that have a look at what your baby girl does and then distribute the material where you need most of that absorbency to make sure that you have no leaks. So that's it for today's video. I hope that it's very useful and I hope that your folding goes well. Thanks so much for watching. But if I didn't mention a nappy or type of nappy that you want to know how to fold up or have any questions about, please do let me know. I'll make sure to do a video on that soon. So thanks so much for watching and take care guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!